Hey guys! Solitary Witch website was kind enough to ask me to make a video showing you guys how to make non-combustible incense. So, figured I'd share a few things with you. Herbs being my forte, this should be fun. But anyways, first off, you're going to need some tools. You're going to figure out what kind of recipe you want to do, and then the herbs and such that you're going to use to go with it and put it all together. Something to keep in mind when you are making an incense, that you're going to start out with all your gums and your resins first. Examples being your frankincense, dragon's blood, gum arabic, gum mastic, myrrh, any of that, anything sticky pretty much. Next you're going to be adding in all your woods, your barks, your roots, your leaves, your petals. That will be all second, and then very last you would be adding your oils. Now the only time you would really be using oils for the most part is if you were to substitute it for an herb that you do not have, or adding just a little extra scent, just something if you're kind of compensating for an herb that doesn't smell too good that you're adding, adding in your particular incense. Also, what you're going to need is you're going to need a wooden bowl to mix up all your incense in. You want all your tools to be natural. You don't want to be stirring with metals. You don't want to be making it in a metal bowl. That just adds toxins into it, and it also takes away the all-natural Wiccan way of doing things, in all honesty. You're going to want a mortar and pestle. That way you can grind up your tools and such, or your herbs and such. Now, mortar and pestles are great when it comes to grinding up petals and leaves, but when you get to the hard stuff, when you get to grinding up your resins and your barks and your roots, it can be a really aggravating process. But to save yourself the trouble, you want to get yourself a grinder. You can get these, real cheap at the store for like 10 bucks, 15 bucks, and it's definitely well worth the investment, especially if you plan on making, a variety of herbs and using harder materials and such, aka witchicino. Witchicino it! Also, another thing that you're going to need when you are using non-combustible incenses is you're going to need charcoal blocks. They usually come in packs of 10. You can get them at any metaphysical store. You can order them online, and they are fairly cheap. Line them up. I'll show you how to do all that, because there's a little trick to them. It took me a while to master on how to burn this type of incense, but it's well worth it. The last of the smell is amazing, and the smoke is great especially when consecrating and purifying the area that you are in. Another thing, last but not least, that you cannot forget is your burning container. Now you want a heat-proof dish of some sort, and also you want to line it with some sort of sand or some sort of salt, because these little suckers get really hot and you don't want to be endangering yourself as you're trying to purify your area, setting it on fire, or you don't want to burn yourself trying to touch it. So make sure you have something. I like to use my cauldron. It works the best. So in light of that, we're going to get started, and we're going to make just an overall protection incense. With this protection incense, it wards away all negative energies. You can use it during Sabbats, Esbits, during your normal meditations. Just use it in your house overall. Any way that you see to use it and you want to attract some negative energy and kind of ward the bad out, this is the perfect incense for you, and it smells really good. But first off, we're going to start off with adding, I'll show you what we got here. We're going to be doing rose petals and frankincense, rosemary, and dragon's blood. This is dragon's blood resin, and then I've already got a whole bunch already ground up, and then I actually have some frankincense ground up just because that does take a few minutes, and I don't want to bore you with 2 minutes of grinding of frankincense. So that's that. Oh, another thing that you're going to need is some sort of stirring utensil to stir up your herbs with once you mix them up. You don't want to use metal spoons. Again, no metal, all natural. These wooden skewers are good that you can use for kebabs. You can also use a wooden spoon, and another thing that is also amazing to use is chopsticks. Just don't eat a whole lot of Chinese food, so I'm not a big chopstick user, haver, collector of sorts. So, we're going to start with the frankincense. Now I've got some in here, and then what you're going to do is you're going to want to grind it up. If you use your mortar and pestle, grind it up into a fine powder. You don't want any chunks left. And then also when you grind up herbs, you always want to pulsate. You never want to just let it go and let it rip, because number one, you're going to burn out your motor and your witchchino, and that's no good. Second, in making any sort of herbal medicines and capsules, the more you heat up an herb, the more volatile oils that you burn off the herb, and the less effect it has. Whether that's relevant to incense or not, that's just a sort of practice that I myself like to keep in. So that's just something to keep in mind. So we're going to use 2 parts frankincense. Now, when measuring in parts, those of you who are not kind of, I guess, mechanically equipped, as I know I'm definitely not, but incenses you can add as much of an herb or as less of an herb as you want, in just equal parts. Any part that you use, make sure you use the equal parts for the rest. If that makes sense to you, okay. So we're going to grind up our frankincense into a powder, and then we're going to put it in our bowl. Next, we're going to add our dragon's blood, and like I said, I've already got some ground up. And this stuff is a lot sticky. Now, one reason why you add resins and gums into your incenses is to, especially if you have a lot of petals and leaves, it allows them to stick together and allows them to burn longer. If you had an incense strictly of nothing but petals, leaves and flowers and such, it will burn very fast, very quickly, and you won't get a long-lasting scent out of it. The more resin and the more base you have, the longer it will burn. And oils almost, as I say burn, I should actually say smolder, because it does smoke, but it doesn't burn and smell as if it is burning in a rotten sense. So we're going to add 2 parts frankincense, 1 part dragon's blood. Dragon's blood, protection. That's it so far. And then when you go to grind up your petals and leaves, I'm just going to go ahead and use my witchchino as to keep this video short and effective. Add some rosemary. Rosemary in there. It's good to just kind of blend them together. It allows them to get chopped up together and allows them to go ahead and blend and save you some blending time in your bowl. Add a little bit of rose petals. Now, this particular recipe doesn't necessarily call for rose petals, but I like to add rose petals in a lot of my incenses because it always adds a little bit of love. And you can never have too much love. Stir that up a little bit. Do a little bit more. So here we go. Got it added up. We're going to take our skewer. And mix it up. Actually, I need both hands for this. But once you mix it all up, you can add anything else that you want to add to it. And as you're stirring any sort of incense, you always want to put your intent of why you are making this incense. If it's a love incense, you want to put all your love into it. If it's for protection, you want to take all your will and direct it into your incense and let it know that this is for protection, to keep away any bad. Put all your good energy into it. Anytime you do any sort of Wiccan recipe or concoction of set potions, elixirs, anything like that, you definitely want to always direct your energy into it. That is the main part of the whole entire practice when you are doing any sort of spellcraft of any sort. So we have our incense, and you do it to basically, you feel comfortable and you're happy with it. In all honesty, I'm going to add a little bit more rosemary and rose petals. Because if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. Multitasking. Cheers. Perfect. So, there you have it. Ah, the color just doesn't do it justice. It smells lovely though. So once you're done, it's time to light it and time to burn it. So we're gonna get our little heat-proof cauldron. Now when lighting these charcoal tablets, it's a little tricky. My method is to take some scissors, put your charcoal tablet in there, and you want to hold it just so not too tight to where it snaps it out of there, but not too loose to where it falls out, and then you set your carpet afire and everything else. It's just not good. And my fan is going to make this a little difficult. But you want to light it up. Now these particular charcoal tablets, hold that thought. Okay. You're going to light it up, and it's going to spark. And you're going to wait till it quits crackling and igniting. Yes, you see it. Drink you some herbal tea or some wine while you're waiting. Once it's done, it'll get a glow to it. Then you know it's ready. Put it in your dish. Now, when first adding your incense, you're going to add just a little bit. I'll show you guys. You add too much, it's going to put the block out. So you just want a half a teaspoon or so. And it's going to start to smolder. Now once this gets done smoldering, you don't ever knock off the ashes off the charcoal block. You leave it be and you just add on top. And anytime you quit seeing the smoke, that's when you just sprinkle a little bit more on top. And you can of course add more and more as time goes on. But the very first, very important part is to only add a little bit at the very beginning. And allow it to smolder till it quits smoking out. Now, when burning this type of incense, yes, you want a fan on. Yes, you want your windows open, unless it doesn't necessarily bother you or you don't mind your room filling with a little bit of smoke. Some people argue saying it's super harmful for you, but a lot of the times, to me, it's the element of air, and anywhere the smoke touches, it cleanses. It being protection incense, I welcome it anytime, especially in my witchy room. So I really hope this helps you guys out, and feel free to experiment, and don't always look for recipes out of a book, because you can create any sort of incense that you want. Take basis of things that you like and different herbs that stick out to you, and combine your own. And also, with the Solitary Witch site, please send your recipes and all different things that you want to share out of your BOS, because this is a particular site where we can all come together and share all of our different ways, as eclectic as we are, and kind of come on a common ground. Yeah, we can learn from each other, learn something new. So blessed be. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys got something out of it. And take care. I'll see you again soon. Love.